Just a little while ago, we unboxed the MSI GeForce GTX 1660 Super Gaming X. And I was talking about throwing it in a rig and testing it out and stuff. And I was like, why don't I just do it live? Why don't I just throw up the live stream and make it happen? So let's throw it in a rig and see if we can get it up and hashing. So this is the GPU that we're talking about here. I talked about this a little bit earlier. I bought it off of Amazon and I think I paid $279. I need to check, but it looks like I could have got it $10 cheaper on Newegg. So this is the GPU that I bought, and this is one that we're going to mess with today. Throw it into a rig and see if we can get it up and running. And the rig is the Kessel rig, my NVIDIA rig here in the office. And this is what we're going to be dealing with. And I just want to show you that right now it is running Hashrate OS. And let me get that back over here. It's running Hashrate OS and mining AION at the moment at 1.29 souls in a little 6 GPU rig. So that's actually pretty good. That's kind of probably the highest I've seen it, you know, compared to some other OSs. So it looks like it probably jumped up maybe 2.02, 0.03, somewhere around there compared to the other OS. And power is about the same, maybe a little less. But yeah, looking good. I just wanted to show you that this rig is the one that I showed you the video of just a second ago, and the one that we're going to be messing with. So let's go ahead and I'm going to power it down. You should see it power down in a second here. There it goes. All right, so I haven't done any prep work or anything like that. I am literally just doing this live. So let's hit it. See what we got going on over here. What's up, Crypto Jason? I am not. Oh, you know what? I am drinking just a tad bit of Fireball. That is true. I did make one drink that I still have a little bit left here of. So. All right, so this is the Kessel rig. These are two 1070s, two 1070 Ti's, and then two 1080s over here. So I'm going to remove one of the 1070s. I wanted to do a repasting video on it anyway, so this is going to work out pretty perfect because I believe that all 6 of these need to be repasted. And yeah, so this is going to work out great because I'll be able to do that while this GPU is in the rig. I'll have one out and I'll be able to just basically swap it out, you know, with each one. So it'll work out pretty well. So let me make sure the video is good here. So all I'm going to do is disconnect power. And you might be thinking, hey, it looks like that is jumper to the other GPU, and it is. And you know what? It's been like that for a year, more than a year. I never had a problem. So to those folks that say that you shouldn't do that, I say, I don't know about that because I did, and it's been working that way ever since. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't push my rigs really hard, like power and stuff like that. So that's probably why. But yeah, it's, you know, it works fine that way for me. I won't be able to really interact with the chat too much, I don't think. I can't really see it from where I'm at over here. I've got this thing, the cable management's pretty tight on here, so I don't want to have to really cut anything. I'm just kind of taking my time here and disconnecting everything. That was just a little cap right here. It's not a big deal. on the frame. All right, so glue on my hand now because this the PCIe adapters here, the risers, they get really hot, and the little pad that's on the bottom eventually comes off. And this one in this rig, it's not sitting on the rail on the beta frame, so it's just kind of hanging free. And because it was hanging free, it just basically eventually just fell off. So there's like glue on the bottom of this. You might be able to actually see it a little bit there. I can hit the reflection just right here. Anyway, yeah, a little bit of glue there. All right, so I'm gonna leave. I should have probably left that thing completely connected. I didn't really need to I took the USB off just so I could lift it up enough to take the adapter off. But all right, so man, these are such beefy cards. Golly, metal backplate, freaking sweet. So yeah, I'll be messing around with this one. I'll probably do a repasting on this 1070, so we'll get into that at some point. Now, one thing I'm concerned with is the length. Okay, so it looks like it might actually work. Okay, so that's good, because if you're familiar with the Veta frame, there's two positions for the bar, the support bar here. You might not be able to see it on the video there. Let me see if I can pull another. See if I can pull this camera over here real quick. Give me just a second here. I'll be able to get a little bit better shot here. So this bar right here, it's like a support bar right here that runs that way, you know, runs underneath from one side to the other on the whole frame. And it has two positions. You can actually flip it and put it on this side. And then, I mean, obviously this thing is pretty configurable. You can put this bar over here if you want. You can do whatever you want. But sometimes if you put this bar underneath of the GPU, then that means that the riser, if you have the bar over here, the bar where the bracket for the GPU actually connects to, if you leave it like that, then your riser is actually going to sit on the crossbar, right? And then if it's sitting on there and you have that plastic or that rubber padding underneath it, then it'll stay on there. It might droop a little bit on both sides, but it'll at least stay on there. And in my case, I don't have it like that, so that's why it fell off. All right. Anyway, I'm just rambling on about this thing here, but what I wanted to show you is that because the bar is in the back, if I can raise this up a little bit, I was worried that maybe this GPU wasn't long enough. I know there's not enough light over here. Hang on a second. Can't get that. Let me turn the light on. Hang on just a second. Might be a little bit better. So what I was worried about was the GPU not being long enough to actually hit this crossbar, but it is, so this is going to work out pretty well. Alright, so let's go ahead and get this thing connected. Take off the little plastic protector there on the bottom of the GPU. Let me go ahead and plug up that USB cable again. Didn't really need to disconnect it in the first place. There we go. Alright, there's that. I'm going to do the little slide lock over here on the left, on the right, I mean. Lock it in there. Fits in there like, it fits like a glove. And it sits up a little taller. Yeah, it's quite a bit taller than the other ones. These Founder editions are like smooth across the top, super low profile. This one, you can see it's actually sticking up quite a bit. Unlock this down. It's like super solid. That thing fits in there. I don't know, it must be catching just perfect on that, on the back of the GPU right there, on that rail, because it's like really solid. So I guess that means I need to buy 5 more. All right. So if we go back over here to Hash Rate OS, you can see that that rig is now off. It's got the little exclamation points and stuff. So I will be turning it back on. Hopefully I don't lose power or anything. I think I got that figured out because that was a UPS situation, at least I think. Hopefully whenever I hit this power button, everything's gonna be fine. Oh, you know what? I gotta plug up the power. Forgot. Let's get this one in there too. Not gonna work without that. And it's an 8-pin on the top there. Probably gonna have to flip this around. It looks like. All right. Looking good there. All right, so let's hit the power. All right. Wow, that thing is, that's a pretty card. Look at all them RGBs. It should get really great hash rate with that. Y'all know I'm just kidding. And I don't know how this is going to work with drivers and all that stuff with the Hash Rate OS. I'm just kind of hoping that it's going to fire up. So we'll see. Fans aren't even spinning yet. That's probably normal. Thing's pretty sick, right? All right, so it showed up in Hive OS already. Hive OS, good grief. It's the H. It showed up in Hash Rate OS already. So that's good. A lot of lights. All right, so if we go back over to desktop and Hash Rate OS, check our little notifications here. This is like a super cool feature because it's not just letting you know like a list of actions that have happened to the rig. It's also real detailed. It tells you a lot of information on here, which I really like. So that's a big bonus for Hash Rate OS. Go back to dashboard. All right, so it looks like it's still firing up. I hear things kind of getting going over there. Fans are kicking up and whatnot. And could you imagine having a rig full of those? That would be so sick. That's a good looking card. Digging it. And check the chat, see if anybody's in here. What's up, Bitcoin Jake and Jason? Both of y'all are still in here, or in here. That's cool. Yeah, there's always been some, you know, I don't know, I think it's kind of FUD on the whole powering the GPUs like that. I've never had a problem, so I continue to do it because it's efficient, and you know, you allow yourself some you know, density. You don't have to buy a lot of different power supplies and server PSUs and all that stuff to make it work. So no, Chancoin, I have not covered the Wi-Fi on Hashrate OS yet because I think I have a Wi-Fi adapter that can work, or that will work with it, but I haven't found it yet. It's I don't use Wi-Fi, so I mean, I do, but not in that way, and I need to find that adapter before I can play around with it. But I do fully intend on doing that at some point. All right, so if we're looking at this rig, I just want to point out here. Okay, so it says unknown. So now I feel like now we probably have a driver issue. So let me think here. We would need to have, what is it? CUDA 10.1, I think. So I think, let's see here. I'm not gonna know off the top of my head how to find out on here. Let's see. Probably go to their Discord. I'm going to Hashrate OS's Discord and just looking around for a second. Let me see if I can figure it out fairly quickly. I'm just kind of poking around in here and seeing if I can find out if anybody's using a super on Hashrate OS yet. So it does, I'm seeing some things in here that they do have, like a 2070 works apparently, so I'm just going to ask them in Discord here real quick. thought maybe some of them would pop in here, but you know what? I didn't really say that this was going to be about hash rate OS at all, but no, it's not under system info, and I can't show you that anyway because that's where the rig token and all that stuff is. But I'm pretty sure it's not under there. Although, well, you know what? Maybe it is. Let me think about this for a second. What I can do is let me put something else up here like that, and then I will check. No, it doesn't have the NVIDIA driver version or anything like that. I probably have to go through the console maybe and kind of run commands in there to find out what it is, I guess, maybe. Yeah, it's showing up as MSI unknown. Maybe go out to their website here. I won't go on there. Hey, what's up, Richard Porter? Yeah, it's a sick looking card for sure. I like it. If you're into that kind of thing. I mean, technically, it is working, right? I mean, if we go over here, I mean, it is hashing, so it's working, just probably not optimally at all. See. Do tuning. Okay, so it doesn't have any. Okay, so even though it says unknown, we might be able to do some stuff with it here. So the 1070 was getting 209 souls. Let me go back over here. 1070, 207, 207 souls, and then if you go to tuning, it was set to 150, 1400, 105, so 150 core, 1400 memory, 105 watts, and then 60 on the target temp. So what we'll do is we will put, but that's not going to work for a 1660 Super, right? So we're going to put some different overclock settings in here. We're going to start with core of 120. And I'm just gonna goof around here just for a second and see if we can see if it's actually just that the OS doesn't identify it, but the drivers are all still good. That's what it looks like. So that's what we're gonna mess around with. We're gonna go core of 120, memory of 1350, power of 90, target temp of 60. And apply. You can see how it applies those settings right here. And then you have to click update rig down here at the bottom. And you get all that nice indications that it worked. And then we'll go back to dashboard. It's going to restart the miner. It immediately goes to 0 hash rate because the miner's got to restart. Just the miner, not the rig. Yeah, this card, whenever I was doing the unboxing, I didn't mention that it is really solid. I mean, it is, you can tell just the quality of construction is really good. Definitely above average, you know. It didn't feel flimsy. It didn't make weird noise whenever, you know, like creaking noises whenever you grabbed it. It was... Everything on the whole thing was just super solid. Really, it's pretty impressive actually. So you can see that it is firing back up here at 1.24, which is close to what we were at before. But it takes a while for this thing to get, really going. You have to give it a little bit. What was it at before? 160 something, I believe. So we've actually dropped some so far, but let's give it a minute. Maybe we'll try to crank up that memory clock a little bit. I mean, it's not totally, awful, but I can tell that it should be getting, I would say, I don't even know, maybe maybe somewhere like a 1070 or a 1070 Ti, somewhere around in there. So I would say 210 probably would be, I would be okay with 210. And that's souls for AION, Equihash 2109. And looks like, I don't know if it's the driver, or we can play around a little bit more real quick with tuning and throw it into, let's give it some more memory clock here. Since it's got much better memory and much faster memory, crank it up a little bit here. Give it a little bit more wattage as well, power limit. Put those in there, and update rig. You can see it's restarting the miner, so that's good. It's 3. And I believe that any more than 3 rigs, if you go to 4, then you have to pay for all 4, I think. And I believe it's $2 per rig, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure that's how it works. If you go to, they have the pricing info over here. Yeah, right here it says $2 per month per unique device install greater than 3. So that would be, if you had 4, then it would be $8 a month. All right, so we got it up to 160. But that's what I was getting with zeroed out, default clocks and everything. I was getting 160 before that. So let me throw just a little bit more power at it. It's only at 95 here. Most of the other cards are at least 100. Let's go ahead and go with one. Let's put it at 105. How about that? But again, I don't know how this is actually going to work very well. I mean, it's obviously the driver's working because otherwise it wouldn't be mining, but I'm just a little concerned about that. I guess this is just the indication, so maybe the OS just doesn't read, understand what that card is just yet. Probably an update or something that needs to be put in there, or identifying the card. Yeah, this video really doesn't do the card justice, man. It looks so cool. Yeah, it's super cool. So it looks like we got one more soul out of it. I mean, I guess it could be, still could be drivers. I'm just a little, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to really sit here and troubleshoot this too much without knowing whether or not the card is fully supported, in the OS, because I feel like if it says unknown right here, that the OS isn't going to use it to its full potential, right? At least that's what it seems like. It is increasing a little bit, but I would say that 210 would probably be my goal for that. I mean, we could probably play around with some other algos, some other coins. Let me see what I have on here. So I've got AION, DCX, Rio. I don't know if I got anything mining Rio successfully. That would be a pretty good test, though. Let me switch it over to Rio real quick. I want to say I had a problem with this one. Yeah, I think that I had a problem with this one, so this might not work. Chaincoin, I don't know. I don't know. They have, they have the drivers in there, I suppose, for CPU mining, and they have custom mining capabilities as well. So yeah, I don't know. All of my rigs are, built like a standard rig without a really high-powered CPU. So they have 3930s and 4400s, and probably, not going to be really great on RandomX. So, or any type of CPU mining at all is probably not going to be very, very good. So, all right. So this time it actually came up pretty quickly, and it looks like it's mining Rio fairly well. Okay, so we got 1.3K here, which is similar to a 1080, 1070 Ti. But let's see. So these are using. This is another thing. Okay, so I'm not. These overclocks are for Equihash. So like right now, this thing's freaking out. So I would have to go through here and modify it. Let's see what's the power it's pulling right now. That's 593, but it sounds like a lot more than that. Thing's getting kind of loud. Let's see. I mean, the TI is quite a bit more, the 1080 is quite a bit more. At least one of the 1080s. This 1080 right here has always been kind of a dog. This one's always been just always lagging behind. These two 1080s were bought at the same time from the same place, but this one right here is always just a tad bit slower. A little bit of silicon lottery going on there, I guess. So sitting around 1.3 the way it's currently configured. Oh, I'm just playing around right now. What we did, Dan, was we installed this video card right here. The MSI, the brand new 1660 Super Gaming X. So that's what we did, and I just plugged it into, put it in the rig here, and fired it up, and see what we could come up with as far as mining and whatnot. So I was just kind of playing around, just seeing, what we noticed right away was that the drivers say unknown. This is the card right here. Yeah, everything else has the correct name, but not this one. Although, you know, I did point out that it is actually mining, so it is working. It's just not being identified properly, and I don't know if that is affecting the capabilities of the card or not. You know, I don't think it would be. It's just not in the database for what GPUs are out there, because it is pretty new. I think it came out at the end of last month, the 1660 Super. So yeah, the one with GDDR6 memory. So it actually is working, which is cool. Yeah, this is definitely in the OS. It's probably, like I was saying, it's probably just something that they haven't added to the database of available GPUs. But it appears to be using the driver successfully. Everything's solid with the card. You know, I mean, it's mining. You can see it's hashing and stuff. So I don't think it has a problem. It's just an identification thing. That's all. I'm not really worried about it. But I'm just concerned that because it says unknown, that maybe the OS isn't using it, you know, the full capability of the card. I don't know. I'm probably wrong there, but it seems like it might be a possibility. I'm gonna go ahead and go with. I'm gonna crank up the memory and the clock and the power. What did I do earlier? Oh yeah, I gave it 105. So I'm gonna crank up the power a little bit more, and maybe even the clock, the memory clock. Let's play around a little bit here. So 115 on the power. Go 1950 on the memory. And let's go ahead and throw it a little bit more core also. No, you're good, Dan. Keep it up. It's all good. All right, so it's back up and running here. So that basically didn't do anything. But this is kind of, let's see, this is Rio, so this is CN GPU. So it's probably kind of the way that algo actually works, with leveling everything out and not really the core, the overclock settings are not going to have as much of an effect, right? I see something here. This is kind of weird. So look at this 1070 Ti here that is at 200 core, 800 memory, power is 110. It's getting 1.37K at 97 watts. Okay, there it goes. Now it's firing up a little bit. Actually, they all are. So it's at 1.34 now. And I mean, if you think about the cost here, because these cards, these Founders Editions were pretty expensive. You know, I bought these more than a year ago, and so if you compare it to what you're getting now with a lower cost card, but you're still getting the same or better hash rate, that's pretty solid. I was kind of expecting it to be more, and maybe I'm just not tuning it right here, but you know, it is using a lot of power here. But again, I threw 115 at it. I probably could drop that back down to 105 and probably not lose any hash rate at all. Let's try that. Let's go 105 here. Oh, there's a dip in the overall hash rate on BTC. Yeah, I think at this point I would probably go with the TIs, like you said. If I was to build a rig right now, a full rig, even though this is a friggin' beautiful card, I would probably go, I might actually go with a 1660 Ti for mining. It just depends on cost, you know. If it's the same as a Super, then maybe, and it also depends on what you're going to be mining with it. You know, all those things are factors. All right, so I kind of have a feeling it likes what I threw at it this time. It does run a lot cooler. The fans are like barely spinning. So this only updates once every 30 seconds, I think. The way it works. I mean, I suppose you could do a refresh on top, but it's pretty amazing that it stays. I mean, it's at 63, but the fan is just at 28. I wonder if, I mean, it's not really getting that hot, but okay, so there it goes. I was wondering about the auto control of the fan. It looks like it's working. So you should see the temperature drop down because I've got it set to 60, I believe. Yeah. 60 as the target temp. I mean, I don't know. That's pretty solid. I mean, I'm happy with that. Doesn't like blow away the Founders Edition cards, but you know, it is a 1660. It's not really designed to. But you would think that it would be slightly better than the 1070, right? Yeah, it's not bad. I'm happy with that. Yeah, 352 is a little steep, but I mean, I don't know if that's what, you know, if that's pretty standard over there for you or what, you know. But that's a little steep in USD there. I think you can get them for $309 here. That's not bad. I mean, that's not a huge difference, but like if I was building a rig, then this would probably be the card I would get. Not flashy, you know, it doesn't have all the RGB stuff on it, but it's $30 less, right? So that's a pretty huge percentage less than this one. And really all you're paying for over here is it might have the boost clock might be just slightly better on this card than this one, but for mining, I would say I would definitely go with this one. Although I'm not recommending anybody buy any mining hardware right this second. It's not, unless you're just prepared for a 4-year break-even point, you know. But if you're dead set on building a rig and an NVIDIA rig, then I would definitely use this card. Oh, and it actually has a boost clock of 1830, so it's just like that 1660 Super. And it actually has this is, okay, so that's TI, so it's got GDDR6. Yeah, this one, there's no doubt about it. If I was going to build a NVIDIA rig right now, I would build it with that card. Let's see what they're at. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I was going to go to Amazon and check it out, but I'm probably logged in to Amazon right now, so let's see over here. Okay, so they're the exact same price on Amazon. No, this was a 1660 Ti that I was showing. And this is the one, like I said, if I was building a rig right now, this is what I would buy. But we can look at supers as well, though. Now I might have to take that back. I might use this card right here instead, the 1660 Super instead of the Ti. Although you can see, I mean, nothing's free, right? So the Ti is going to be a little bit better mining than the Super. I think that's the way it seems, anyway. I haven't, you know, and again, it all depends on what you're actually mining too. So you have to keep that in mind as well. The one I unboxed was this one. That's a sick card. I mean, probably on a resale type situation, like if you were really thinking that in the, like, let's say you wanted to build a rig and you wanted to mine with it for a year and you wanted to resell the cards at the end after that, then maybe it would be worth it to build a rig with this, right? Because you're going to be able to sell this to gamers probably pretty easy. Because it's a great looking card. So, you know, there's so many different things you got to consider whenever you're, you know, building a rig or getting into mining. You know, there's a lot of things you have to think about. I just put it back on AION. I want to see if those overclock settings that I threw in there helps it out over on AION a little bit. It seems like I hit a pretty good one there at the end. Oh, if you can get a 1660, a regular 1660 for 204, I would probably go with that. I mean, we can go over there and look, you know, at what to mine here real quick. A single 1660. You said you want to put it on Raven, right? I think you said your power was pretty cheap or almost free. I don't remember. Right now with RX 580s, I am mining CCX, Conceal Coin, or Conceal.network, and if this rig, let's see, am I mining? Oh, yeah, over here I'm mining CCX as well. These are our RX 580s right here. Yeah, if you can get a $204 1660, I think that's probably the way to go. $0.30 a day each, you know. But again, this is just for gauging whether or not you're losing money or not, right? Because if you're not trading it in right away, then this is kind of pointless. What you should be looking at is how many you would obtain per day per card. So let's say you build a 6 GPU rig, you're looking at about 70 per day, between 65 and 70 right now with the current difficulty and all of that. So that is what you would think about. If you're on, you know, on an exchange or something like that that has both Ravencoin and Rio, then you would be better off. I don't know after fees though, it depends, but you know, you could mine Rio and then swap it, trade it for Raven, although they're not that far apart in price, so it probably wouldn't be worth your time. But you know, it all depends on what you want to do. Yeah, so Conceal is one of my favorite projects. These guys right here. They're working on a lot of stuff. They've got a lot of news coming out, so I am looking forward to that. They're one of the projects that I've been following for a really long time, and they've been kind of quiet for a couple months. And like I've talked about before, that usually means that they're building stuff and they're working. So And they're starting to leak a little bit of information now that that is exactly what they've been doing. So looking forward to seeing what all they've come up with here. Alright, so it's at 172 now. Remember earlier it was only at 160. So with these settings, it's actually a little bit better. Let me throw it a here, 9. Throw it a little bit more core. I'm gonna go with like 180 core here. And this is just solid, just playing around. I don't even know. Probably should just end the stream because we got the thing up and running. We could do all the others playing around later. The goal of the stream was to just get the GPU installed and everything up and mining, and we did that. Max memory, I wouldn't say CCX is the best coin to mine with a 580 right now. I mean, according to what to mine, you would probably be looking at Rio, I think. RX 580, 1 RX 580, 0 power costs. Oh, actually, no, not Rio. It would be Ethereum Classic, and Ethereum, and then Haven. Haven's been pumping pretty hard as far as USD value goes. CCX is here. It's down here. It's still profitable if you don't pay for electricity. If you have national average electricity, oh, I didn't have it showing you, sorry. It's yeah, so it would be Ethereum Classic, Ethereum, Haven, and then it looks like you would just be definitely just breaking even mining Conceal. So, which is okay, you know, if you think that the value is going to go up in the future and you're just dollar cost averaging in, right? If you're at 0 after your electric cost, then it's basically you're paying per kilowatt hour, you're just investing in the project that way, right? So it's not a bad way. Looks like the difficulty might have came down a little bit because it's, I want to say I was getting 1 earlier, not that long ago, so I don't know, I'm not keeping up with the actual difficulty like I should be. You want me to try a, that's kind of a Raven type of, yeah, this is Kryptonite. No, wait, I'm back on AION, actually. This is Equihash 2109. And if you go to Overcooked Panda's database, I don't know if he has, I don't remember if he's got 1660. I don't think he's got supers in here. No, he's got TIs, but not supers. Not 1660 supers anyway. So the closest one would probably be the TI. It might actually be the 1660, but we'll go Equash 2109 for AION, search. So it looks like the most used is 120, 1750, 90, which I think we tried that before. So 120, 1750, 90. I think that's where I started. And I might be getting a little bit impatient. I need to just let it rock, you know, and let it eat for a little while before I start passing judgment on it. Although, you know, it does, like, right away you can tell it's so much lower. It's 165, and the other ones are all above 200, pretty well above 200 souls per second. So, you know, I don't know. Again, I don't want to really get into like troubleshooting this right now. You know, that's not really what the stream was about. The stream was just getting it installed and up and running. So we got that far, and I'm happy with that. I am going to get out of here. We've been going for like an hour again already, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, a little bit more than an hour. So what I'll do is I might actually, let's see here. I was kind of playing around with another project that I am interested in that I haven't talked about a lot lately. And I was going to actually use Hashrate OS to see if I could get up in mining that particular project. So maybe that's what I'll do a little bit later. But it's already 9:30. Good grief. It's getting late quick. Alright, so I will see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in and checking this out. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe you got something out of it. I don't know. I try, you know. I think it's kind of cool. That I just keep looking at that card. That card is badass, man. I mean, it looks great. Alright, guys. I will see you next time. Stay savage, everybody.